Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your life to bring you this special message. Zombies really do exist. Your hearing has not deceived you. I said, zombies do exist. Of course, when one hears zombies, visions of mindlessly morbid flesh-eating ghouls come to mind. Thankfully, we're not that far along yet. However, I profess the former portion of that statement is indeed accurate. In elementary terms, a zombie is a person who has lost his or her sense of self-awareness and identity. Sort of like going to war, toppling a government, and ousting the leader on false information, then not holding your own leaders accountable. Or watching children killed from gun violence, and dismissing it all to mental health issues or the actions of a less than honorable or untrustworthy minority child. Perhaps it's like claiming you stand for freedom and yet incarcerate millions on mandatory prison sentences. For hundreds of years, awaiting and prophesying a savior, and then when the savior shows up and attempts to amend and teach the proper way to serve your God, you persecute and eventually crucify him. Maybe it's a bit like killing someone or sanctioning the act, going to a holy place, confessing and asking forgiveness, only to go out and repeat the act again. Or maybe it's a little like saying, I didn't know what I was thinking. Why does this keep happening to me? Or the ever popular, the devil made me do it. It is with these actions and thoughts in mind that I have said, and I will say again, zombies exist. And I might also add, you are a zombie. And in the next several minutes, I intend to prove it by creating a zombie right before your eyes. In order to accomplish this task, we must begin at the beginning. Very few among us could deny the beautiful innocence of a child. Indeed, their beauty comes from their innocence, for they desire but one thing, to give and receive love, nothing more. Then one day it happens. Perhaps it's repeating a vulgar word they've heard, knocked over their drinking cup, even a bedwetting incident. A scolding follows and then it begins. The child is introduced to fear, guilt, and shame. Later the child is introduced to phrases such as, do as you are told, or children should be seen and not heard, or children should stay in their place. In school, the child receives additional messages. You're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, not cool, a loser, poor, and dozens of other condemnations, not to mention the messages tacked on by adults and authority figures. They are taught to memorize material and rewarded for their conformity. They are virtually pimped by the media, which tells them that events, fashions, and all things material are more important than love and honoring themselves. Religions and drugs play a major part in shaping your identity. Ultimately, they promulgate escape and freedom, while at the same time seducing you to give up your freedom, leaving you no avenue of escape. By the time the child completes school, they are anything but a highly functional human being. In fact, they become so frightened and insecure, filled with confusion, warped ideas and opinions, anger and false expectations. Any person, place, or thing that varies from that of yours, you ridicule, attack, and invalidate. You claim to stand against slavery, yet you rush out to purchase devices imported from countries that practically advocate slave labor. You are easily manipulated by commercials that seduce your ego and cause you to spend money that you don't have. Very similar to the operations of your banks, and for that matter, your governments as well. You denounce abortion, yet turn a blind eye to all the poor, starving, and underprivileged children of the world. You ignore the destruction of your own ecosystem in favor of a few extra gallons of gas. You brag about your multiple sexual affairs as you desperately seek to overcome childhood molestation and other issues. You consume alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, overeat, get breast implants and plastic surgery, and the list goes on and on. You have become a celebrity, sensationalistic-driven society, driven by depersonalized narcissism, thinking and concerned only superficially about yourself. Still think you are not a zombie? Think again. Listen to your politicians as they chant, "Drill, baby, drill," knowing full well that all oil is placed on the world market and subject to global economic conditions and bear no impact on the local economy. Ask your religious leaders if punishment, condemnation, and damnation is the result of making other than the first choice. How can one truly have free choice? Why is trading time for money, conformity, and a good memory promoted by society, while non-conformity, individualism, and creative expression denounced? Now here's the real test. Go to the nearest mirror and ask yourself, am I a zombie? If you can answer this question honest and truthfully, then congratulations, you are either self-realized or a very good liar. However, if you can freely admit that you are a zombie, then you are on the path to self-realization. Unfortunately, this is merely the tip of the iceberg, for the zombie matrix is driven and rooted in fear. In the pages on this site, I will present further proof of this fact, so be warned. The zombie matrix of fear is persistent as it is relentless. Those enslaved and imprisoned in this matrix will fight and attack you by any means necessary to bring and keep you in the fold. I am called Wick Solo. Wick stands for the cord that holds the flame, while Solo stands for a spirit of light and order. And it is my pleasure to bring you this most important message and look forward to addressing you in the future. May you too be self-realized.